William Shakespeare is considered as the most important English writer, as well as the greatest Western playwright who has ever existed. He was born in Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564, and he was educated in a male institute not far from home. He became famous in 1592 after having moved to London, where he became an actor and a playwright. Nonetheless, a plague epidemic forced him to interrupt his activity from 1593 until the spring of 1594, the same year in which his very first works appeared. Many others followed, which made Shakespeare so famous that he could retire to his hometown, where he died on April 23, 1616. Amongst Shakespeare's works, there are Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and The Merchant of Venice. The latter was written between 1596 and 1598, and is set in a Venice contemporary to the author, in a time in which Jews were harshly despised by Christians. Over the years, this play was represented many times, both on stage and in movies. To this end, the most famous is certainly the 2004 movie by Michael Radford, with Al Pacino in the role of the usual Shylock. The Merchant of Venice starts with Bassanio, a young Venetian gentleman, who wants to marry the rich Belmont heiress Portia. In order to seduce her, since he has no more money, Bassanio asks his friend Antonio, a Christian merchant, to lend him 3,000 ducats. Nonetheless, Antonio cannot lend Bassanio that money, as he has invested all his capital on some goods that are currently at sea. So Antonio decides to provide a guarantee for Bassanio to Shylock, a Jewish usurer. But Shylock and Antonio despise each other not only because of their beliefs, but also because Antonio lends money for free, and so he damages the usurer's business. It is agreed that, if Bassanio cannot pay Shylock, he will cut a pound of Antonio's flesh. As The Merchant of Venice is a 16th century play, it includes both a dictionary and a length of lines which do not meet the cinematographic times. In the analyzed movie, some words were modernized in order to make the movie more enjoyable for modern spectators. Furthermore, some lines that appear in the original text have been eliminated in the movie script. In this way, the conversations between the characters were converted into a true dialogue, an aspect that was absent in the original play. Overall, the movie follows the chronological order given by Shakespeare, but there are some scenes which are inserted within other scenes. This choice probably comes from the fact that, in the movie, there was the intention of creating a sort of parallelism between the many characters resuscitated. An example is the first scene of the third act, that interrupts the seventh scene of the second act, which is resumed shortly after. At the start of the movie, it is crucial to underline that some new scenes were introduced. They were not included in the original play, but they were introduced in the movie to present the main characters, paying specific attention to Antonio's dislike for Shylock and to the fact that the usurer is a Jew. The Merchant of Venice is one of the most important works by William Shakespeare, and not only for its plot, which is extremely innovative for its epoch. Indeed, all the plots of the plays by the English playwright are apparently quite simple, but they are actually based on some characters which have a specific role. All the Shakespearean plots include many themes which can be applied to today's life as well, Most of them are the best human feelings, such as love, friendship, and altruism, but also hatred and revenge. In The Merchant of Venice, virtues are represented by the Christian characters, and the only Jew, who plays an important role, embodies most of the negative feelings. Shylock is a reserved and extremely resentful character, who is hated by Christians both for his beliefs and for his occupation, which is harshly condemned by the Christian religion. In this character, many prejudices about Jews can be found, especially the preconception that Jewish people are very attached to money. To this end, the main theme of the play is prejudice, that goes hand in hand with intolerance. Shylock represents a part of humankind which, for a long time, has been victim of mockeries and preconceptions. Even though Shylock embodies the Jew usurer attached to money, Shakespeare presents an extremely innovative character, as Shylock desires to take revenge on Antonio, much more than he desires money. Revenge, indeed, is another crucial theme of this play, which emerges especially in the first scene of the fourth act, during the trial to Antonio. The usurer, indeed, wants to take revenge not only on the merchant, who used to insult him and who has spit many times on his caled, but on all Christians as well. Shylock's daughter Jessica had indeed escaped with Lorenzo, a Christian friend of Bassanio. The Merchant of Venice is slightly less popular compared to other Shakespearean plays, but it includes many themes which are at the base of some of the social changes we are currently experiencing. For instance, Shylock's monologue on Jews is extremely impactful on the audience's emotions. The words pronounced by the usurer could be adapted to the present days as well, and not only for the people with a different belief, but also for those who are discriminated because they are different in some way. Al Pacino's performance, moreover, gives even more power to a controversial character who is hated by everyone, who embodies perfectly all the minorities that have been discriminated over the centuries. Michael Redford's movie is a perfect performance of a Shakespearean play whose value has been rediscovered only in the latest years, in which humankind has been trying to eradicate, once for all, the intolerance that for centuries has gripped our species. And this is why it is important to remember this comedy, as more than 4 centuries ago, it dealt with the theme of discrimination, which is today more present than ever before.